he gonna get caught. He'll pop out on you. He get there too quick.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. Almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous. How can you be out there claiming to want to fight the best people on the planet?
Gervonta Tank Davis has been turning heads lately, especially after new training clips surfaced, showing his lightning-fast punches and raw power. Experts are cautioning against a matchup with such a drastic size difference, calling it both physically dangerous and potentially harmful to the sport's image. Many insist that Jake Paul needs to approach Davis not as a YouTuber turned boxer, but as a serious, high-level threat. Observers point out that Davis doesn't just bring speed and agility. His recent footage highlights technical precision and a knack for cornering his opponents, making it a risky fight if Paul underestimates him.
I was surprised because it sounded like Jake Paul and Joshua was getting closer and closer for January. However, there have been rumours of Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul in the past. I think with Gervonta Davis's kind of legal problems in the last month or so and rumours about his retirement, I don't think it's a massive shock that he is taking this Jake Paul fight if it is going to go ahead, purely for the reason that it's a lot of money for maybe not the most difficult job that he's going to have in his career. So it's a strange one, but yeah, it's just another kind of day in the...
Promoter Eddie Hearn has voiced serious concern over Jake Paul's decision to fight Davis, calling it a potential disaster. He cautioned Paul to be careful what you wish for, highlighting the physical risk and suggesting that Paul could face real damage. While the matchup might sell well, Hearn views it as a bad fit and a major gamble for Paul, one where more than just his win-loss record is at stake. In Hearn's eyes, Paul's physical safety could be on the line.
It's extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. You know, I've got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please, AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua. I think that's the only reason we're going to see this fight. But I truly believe you're going to see it at the beginning.
Daniel Cormier offered a balanced but cautionary take. While he praised Jake Paul for becoming a respected name in the industry, even landing Netflix deals, he couldn't ignore the obvious mismatch. Davis may be the better boxer, but the weight difference is massive. Davis came in at 133 pounds in his last fight, while Paul is nearly 200. Cormier warned that a loss for either man comes with major risks. Paul could lose momentum, and Davis could face ridicule for losing to someone far bigger.
When the Disruptor Challenge is a legend, guys, anything can happen. When a kid that was on YouTube and on Disney walked in there and said, I'm going to be a professional boxer, Jake Paul needs to be commended for that. He had a vision, and he honestly executed that vision better than anyone ever could have expected. But sometimes you want something so badly that you don't recognize the dangers that come with wanting that thing and then getting that thing. Now Jake Paul has gotten himself to a point where he's fighting someone that could truly, truly end his career. Mike Tyson. We're talking about one of the scariest, most dangerous fighters to ever step foot in the squared circle. For me, it's pretty simple. Jake Paul, in the Mike Perry fight, he got a great appetizer for what he will get in the main event. A fighter that starts very fast, that throws things to take your head off, and you have to kind of match the intensity to ultimately get your shots off. Jake Paul today announced that he has signed with the PFL.
The PFL.
A couple weeks ago, Jake Paul and I were messaging each other about an appearance on my show, DC and RC. Just kind of talking about his future. And honestly, Jake and I have had some run-ins. When I started talking to him and I'm messaging him, he's a kid that's very respectful. And we had respectful conversations. He has an idea what he wants to do. Now, these kids today are different, right? So he's very boisterous. He's very verbal. He speaks big. But will Jake Paul actually fight in the PFL? A lot of boxers say they're going to fight, but they never actually do. Here's the thing about Jake Paul, though. He's from Ohio. Ohio has some of the best high school wrestling. Jake Paul was a high school wrestler there. So was his brother Logan. They weren't bad. I believe this one he'll actually fight.
Carl Froch, former world champ, didn't hold back his concerns. He pointed out the 65-pound weight gap as a serious danger, even though Davis has more technical skill. Froch warned that Paul's size and awkward power could pose real harm, saying Davis won't be used to that kind of force. In his view, this fight isn't a serious competition. It's a dangerous circus act that puts both fighters' health and boxing's credibility at risk.
My name was mentioned at his press conference and he shit himself, and the fight was just absolutely fucking diabolical. Again, I've said before, he's not a professional boxer. He never will be. And he proved time and time again that he's not a professional fighter. So, Jake Paul, go on, piss off.
I mean, I don't really take Jake Paul that serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. Swings away, stands up straight, and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he's just so much wrong. It's just everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like, you put him in with someone his own size, it was a professional, and it's a mismatch. And you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him, he's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level, and then from British title to world level, it's like different worlds. It's like totally different. It's like a different sport.
Just here at Los Naranjos in Viva, España, and I found out that Gervonta Davis is now fighting Jake Paul. So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think. But the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode. But hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in, and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf, and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share, and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Froch on Fighting, and we'll see.
Ryan Garcia strongly criticized the idea of Paul versus Davis, calling it completely insane. He argued that matchups like this blur the line between boxing and WWE-style entertainment. In Garcia's view, the sport is losing its authenticity and respect, becoming harder for fans to take seriously. He summed it up harshly. Boxing is officially the WWE.
Talk about the boxing world and another fight that Jake Paul just booked for his joke of a career against a 65-plus smaller guy than him in Gervonta Davis. Jake Paul is a circus sideshow for low IQ incels. Nobody should be falling for this carny bullshit about him being a real fighter. Gervonta is a million times better than him, so he has to handicap Gervonta's skill by being a giant lab rat with a 65-plus weight advantage over him. This is a joke. This is a mockery to the sport of fighting. You know, the best are supposed to fight the best. Why is he fighting a guy that's, you know, in his last fight, Mike Tyson, who, you know, he's got a 40-year age gap between them? You know, why are you fighting a guy that should be in line for, you know, the early bird special, not fighting in a boxing ring and Mike Tyson? Now you're fighting a guy who is, you know, tiny. He's a 130-pound fighter. You fight in the 210, 220 weight range. So, you know, this is another joke in Jake Paul's career. You know, he claims to want to be a real fighter, but, you know, he's not taking the real steps to be real fighters and fighting, you know, top 10 guys and fighting the best guys in the world. You know, he fights, you know, these circus sideshows against guys that have no business being in there against him. So, you know, I guess this is the state of boxing. It's dead. UFC took over, and, you know, this is what you get now. You get this YouTuber who, you know, is on Lizzie McGuire, and he wants to claim to be a real fighter, but he doesn't want to fight real fighters. So, you know, I think it's ironic, though. Why would he hire a lawyer to sue people that say that his fights are fixed if they weren't? Allegedly.
Amir Khan slammed the proposed fight, calling it a joke and dangerous for both fighters. He emphasized the obvious. Paul is 200 pounds, Davis is 135, and there's an 8-inch height difference. Khan believes no serious boxing commission would sanction such a mismatch. He praised promoter Turki Alshik for refusing to be involved in what he sees as a YouTube-style spectacle with real injury risks.
He's a lot heavier than him, but in an exhibition fight. What are your thoughts on this fight?
A really bad mismatch, and you know what? Whoever the promoter is and that's agreed Gervonta to fight, and whoever the promoter is to fight for Jake Paul to say fight this little man. I mean, that's wrong, man. I mean, that's just like torturing someone. I mean, going in there and hurting someone is just not fair on Davis. But like, say you don't know what position Davis is in. I heard that he's been having a lot of legal problems and he's been arrested a couple of times for a couple of felonies and stuff I've seen with his ex-wife and stuff. So you know what? You don't know what's going through his head. Maybe he just wants to cash up and walk away from the sport. And maybe this is a great opportunity for him where he's seen this fight come up and he's like, fuck it, I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, I think they're making boxing a joke, really.
Yeah.
One day someone's gonna...
Michael Bisping didn't hold back either. He accused Jake Paul of bullying tactics, using his size and reach advantage to cherry-pick smaller opponents. Referring to Paul's past opponents like Canelo Alvarez, Bisping pointed out the 60-pound gap and questioned the fairness. He said Paul talks like a serious fighter, but acts like someone gaming the system, chasing wins through spectacle, not skill.
How can you be out there claiming to want to fight the best people on the planet and then going out there and taking on a guy that is maybe 92 pounds heavier, that is at least 65 pounds heavier than you? That is called one thing. That's called being a bully. It's like, dude, what are you doing? If you want respect from your peers, if you want everyone on the planet to look at you and take you seriously and give you credit as a boxer, you have to go up against someone that keeps you up at night, against someone that gets you out of bed in the morning to go for a run because the fear of them beating you down.
Bisping has frequently called out Jake Paul for carefully choosing opponents who are either undersized or past their prime. He argued that many of Paul's fights aren't real challenges, but marketing stunts. According to Bisping, Paul avoids fair fights and instead targets aging legends for easy wins. KSI also chimed in, blasting Paul's fight with Davis as a disgrace and accusing him of dodging a fight with KSI himself. He sees Paul's matchmaking as a way to stay in the spotlight without real risk.
Desire for a legitimate fight between the two.
Gervonta not filling the rematch clause and just fighting Jake Paul and that whole situation and reaction of the fight itself.
I feel people people got issues because it's 200 million mandatory or either go fight for 5 million. It's a no-brainer. Like, what's wrong with what's a no-brainer?
A hard fight.
And we prize fighters. They prize fighters.
Right.
And the prize is big. And he's going to retire soon. So you got 200 million right here and you're about to retire soon or either a $5 million
Wait a minute. Kid said he disagreed. Why did he disagree?
I think it's just from a fighter standpoint. And on top of that, he got to draw. It's not like you won. Like you won and you going to go fight Jake Paul. You got to draw, man. You got to go get that back.
Why? It was a cherry pick.
I mean, yeah, it was a cherry pick, and you didn't look good. So you got.
I mean, look, with Jake, the guy's been ducking me or running away from me for so long, man. Like, he's just making excuse after excuse, and now he wants to fight Tank. I mean, it just says the type of guy Jake Paul is. He only fights someone if he has a major advantage. Anything that's close, or anything that could actually be a decent.
British heavyweight Dave Allen had a blunt take. He called the fight a waste of Davis's prime, saying exhibitions like this are meant for retirees, not active champions. He believes Davis should chase real fights like a rematch with Lamont Roach, and that Paul should test himself against legit cruiserweights. Allen accused both fighters of chasing money instead of legacy, and said plainly he has no interest in watching what he considers a circus.
He's never been punched by a rhinoceros, has he yet? So we'll have to see.
He's training this fight, but fighting against real bears. This is true. People are going, no chance, no chance. Do you reckon this guy, could he be the toughest of your opponents so far, do you reckon?
I don't think he's the best that I've faced. I've faced a few Olympic medalists, a few world title challengers, but I think he's probably the most dangerous. Maybe not the best boxer, he might not be the most technical, but he hits really hard, he's really big and strong, so yeah, I think it's the most dangerous task I've faced, but he may be not the best fighter I've been in with.
Whereabouts is the fight, Dave? Where are you fighting him?
He's still at Sheffield Arena,
right?
Headlining in Sheffield, which is like my local arena. So yeah, it's a big night for me.
He won his last fight, didn't he, Dave, against Ricardo Brown, and 20 wins, 19 KOs he's got. So like you says, he is dangerous. How's the training gone for you ahead of this fight?
Yeah, it's been good. He's put a bit of fear in me, to be honest. I have had a bit of genuine fear. I've been stopped, but I've never been on the canvas ever as a pro or amateur. So, and I'd like to keep it that way, really. Yep. I'm not on anyone's highlight reel. You see highlight reels of all the fighters I face. I'm not on any of them, and I'd like to keep it that way. So yeah, training has gone up a notch. For the Fisher rematch, I did weigh a little bit heavy. So for this one, if I cut any corners.
Some critics are calling Davis's decision to fight Paul a strategic move, not a sporting challenge. They say it's the biggest duck in recent boxing history, choosing hype over legacy. Instead of fighting worthy opponents, Davis is chasing a massive payday and internet attention. With such a big size gap and no real competitive balance, the matchup feels more like entertainment than sport. Many believe this move could harm the reputation of boxing, turning it into pure spectacle.
You know, Chase, in sports, Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul have a fight coming up. I ain't even gonna call it a fight because it ain't. If Jake Paul's involved in it, it's a great acting job. You know, Mike Tyson could have just knocked Jake Paul's face into the canvas, but he got paid to pull punches. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got paid. I'm pretty sure the same is going for Gervonta Davis. It's a quick money grab. Yeah, most of y'all gonna be suckers and tune in. It's this quick money grab. That's all I'm saying. Ain't gonna be no fight. I don't give a fuck how big Jake Paul is. He can't take one of them little mother tank punches. And tank move furniture. Move furniture. Catch that motherfucking move furniture. And Jake don't like his furniture move, so he gonna pay him not to hit him again. If you really want to show out Gervonta, sign the contract that you ain't gonna hit him, because if you hit him, you lose all the money. And then whoop that motherfucker's ass, put him to sleep and get him out.
A growing number of voices say that boxing is drifting away from its roots. Celebrity fights, mismatches, and spectacle-driven events are stealing the spotlight from real fighters. These critics feel that the sport is now more about viral content and money grabs than skill, discipline, or true competition.
Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. Chilaquiles.
Musty energy. Musty energy. Musty energy. Musty energy.
Oh, it's musty, and I say that respectfully. Per Mike Hoppinger in the Ring magazine, Gervonta Tank Davis, freshly off his domestic violence charges being dropped, will get into the ring with Jake Paul in Atlanta with a proposed date of November 15th. Lord child. Get your hand out of my pocket! Tank weighs about 135. Jake Paul weighs about 200-something pounds. So obviously this will be at a catch weight, and this possibly will not be a sanctioned fight where it will count on anybody's records. But I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Tank fans, you niggas down bad.
The hatred. Musty energy.
You niggas is down bad.
What do you all think about this?
What's your take on this matchup? Should Jake Paul finally take on someone closer to his own weight and experience level to prove his worth? Or is this just the evolution of boxing in the age of viral fame? Let us know in the comments.